So, a lot of people have asked me, either there's been some comments on my last video, or people have been sending me emails asking for a more specific cost per round to reload. And it's really hard to do. So what I'm going to do is be very specific about the loads that I use, okay? So we know by now that with the Square Deal B, I'm loading 45 ACP using 230 grain bullets. So if you go to Walmart and you were to buy 1,000 rounds of Winchester white box, it would cost you approximately $500 plus tax. So you're getting, you know, with sales tax and everything, you're getting close to 600 bucks at this point. That is what, 50 cents a round? Okay. Now, with using new components, okay? For starters, when I use new brass, I use Starline brass. Okay, it's high dollar brass. Okay, and it costs retail. It costs approximately $170 per thousand. Okay, I use Berry's bullets, 230 grain, copper plated, precision swaged bullets. They cost approximately $130 per thousand. Now, all these prices, you can go on graphs.com, okay? These prices are taken directly off of Graph's retail website, not their dealer website. Powder, I use Vitavori N310, okay? And it is approximately $35 or so a pound. And primers are anywhere from $32 to $37 a thousand, so I kind of rounded down to about $32 a thousand. I think that's, yesterday I think they were at about $32 for a box of 1,000 Federal match large pistol primers. Now, the brass at approximately $170 per thousand is going to be 17 cents a round. The bullets are approximately 13 cents a round. The powder, okay, is approximately 2.2 cents a round. Now, the reason I say 2.2 is because in a pound of powder, there's 7,000 grains, okay? Now, with the load I'm loading, I should be able to get 1,590 rounds out of 1 pound of powder. So, dividing the 7,000, you know, blah, 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 okay? It comes out to 2.2 cents per bullet, okay? This is the only amount that I take where it's actually, where it's not divided by 1,000, okay? Because I want to see what it's going to get me for the whole pound, okay? So, at 1,590 rounds, it comes out to 2.2 cents a round. And the primers are approximately 3.2 cents a round, for a grand total of about 35.4 cents per bullet, which is less than 50 cents a bullet. Okay, so immediately we're saving money. Now, if you take and you shoot, instead of buying new brass, you get once fired brass. And there's any number of places you can buy once fired brass online. There's places you can buy once fired brass that's already tumbled, okay, which will save you the cost of buying a tumbler. But you buy, you know, you can get once fired brass, you know, tumbled online for anywhere between $80 and $90 per thousand. You can also source it locally. I mean, I've seen once fired brass go for as little as $20, $25 per thousand. You have to tumble it, but you know that's still going to cut your brass cost in half. That drops the total cost per thousand down to about $280 per thousand, or just a little bit more than half of what 1,000 rounds of Winchester white box is going to cost you. Okay? Now, these numbers are not the be-all, end-all. Okay? These numbers are based specifically on what I'm loading and what components I'm using, okay? If you want to use new brass but you don't want to use Starline, it's going to be a different cost, okay? Less expensive powder is going to cost you less per round. Cheaper primer is going to cost you less per round. Lead bullets, cast lead bullets versus the higher dollar copper plated bullets, it's going to cost you less per round. But you see the point. Now let's extrapolate this out for a bit. This press retails, what did I say last week, $380, $390. If you factor in the cost of the press and you use, let's just say you decide to use the same exact components I'm using up to and including brand new Starline brass, and let's just say you never reuse your brass, let's just say you always use Starline brass at what did I say, $354, $370 per thousand, including the cost of the machine, okay? By the time you load 2,500 to 3,000 rounds, the machine's paid for itself. If all you use is once fired brass, okay, by the time you load 2,000 rounds, the machine's paid for itself. So you will save money, okay? I know I said in earlier videos that you're not going to save money reloading, because you're really not. And it's really hard to explain, but most people, and I know there's some weird odd ducks out there who don't do this, okay, who don't actually shoot more. But most people, once they get into reloading and they start shooting more, which means that they start reloading more, okay, you're gonna shoot the same amount of bullets for a lot less money. I mean, I just proved that to you, okay? $370 or $350 or $280 per thousand is a big savings over retail Walmart commercial, box ammo. It's a big savings, so you're going to save money. And if you stay at that, if you shoot 1,000 rounds a month now, okay, then within a couple months you're going to be saving money, because you got to factor in the cost of all the equipment you're buying. But if you're a normal person, you're not going to shoot, the same amount you've been shooting. You're going to shoot more, okay? So your cost per round goes down. The amount of bullets you get to shoot for that money goes up, and everybody's happy. Now this is all very, very, gunpowder prices are kind of like gold. It always up and down, always up and down. Same thing with brass, especially new brass. Always up and down. Brass is, it's not technically a precious metal, but it may as well be, because the price fluctuates so much. These copper plated bullets, copper, again, not a precious metal, may as well be, because the price of copper is just retardedly up and down all the time. So any of these numbers are subject to change, but it's never, I don't ever really foresee it being an issue to where it actually costs you more to reload, okay? So there you have it. Reload, you're going to save money at the beginning, and then in the end you're going to end up broke and divorced, because you're going to be spending more money, okay? Now let's talk about something else for a minute here. There is a vocal minority that thinks my intro is too loud. Why are people calling my store on a Sunday, Rusty? Do they know I'm here? Alright, so there are people... No, screw it. It's Sunday, we're closed. There's a vocal minority who thinks my intro is too loud. Personally, I like my intro. The majority of people seem to like my intro. And but in the interest of not alienating anybody, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run a contest. If you think my intro is too loud, then go to my website, after you see this video, and there'll be a write-up on the website. I'm going to run a contest for a new intro. If you're a graphic designer, a CGI kind of animator type person, and you are of the opinion that my intro is too loud, or that you just don't like my intro, and you believe you can do better, then do it. The kicker is, the contest is obviously that I'll use the intro. Okay, if I like it, I'll use it, and I'll give you props, and I'll tell people who made it and everything else. The kicker of that is that I will own all the rights to that intro the minute you send it to me. Okay? There's no real prize here except maybe some publicity for you and a new intro for me. But I will, on the website, I'll do a full list of, what I want for an intro as far as time and so on and so forth. And you can send it to me, and if whoever wins, I will start using that intro instead, and you'll get props for it. And if nobody sends a new intro, nobody enters the contest, that's fine too. I'll just keep using my awesome dubstep intro. What else can I do? Oh geez, what's coming up next week? Next week, I hope to be doing a video or putting up a video about gun shows. Okay. This is all contingent upon whether or not I can get permission from Bob Wanamaker to take my camera and go to Wanamaker's, which is arguably the largest gun show in the world, and film. They have very, very, very strict rules about filming there. And generally speaking, historically, the only people that have ever gotten passes to film at Wanamaker's have been the folks from NRA TV. Okay. The local news doesn't get permission, so hopefully Mr. Wanamaker will allow me to do this, and if not, that's okay too. I'll figure something else out for next week, but that's what I'm kind of hoping for. Okay, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next week. Rich from GunTortureTests.com.